Are we witnessing Britain's biggest political crisis of modern times? Absolutely yes. I was sitting in the press gallery of the House of Commons, and it was perhaps the most astonishing thing I've ever seen in Parliament.
The ayes to the right, 202. The noes to the left, 432.
We all knew Theresa May was going to lose, and we all thought she was probably going to lose pretty big, but the actual margin of 230 votes was astonishing. What it fundamentally means is that on her signature policy, on the thing that Theresa May has been working on for more than 2 years, the most important issue facing British politics, she could not even command a third of the elected MPs. She's already survived one sort of confidence vote when Tory MPs tried to topple her at the end of last year. So just think about what this means if she wins the confidence vote as we expect. Her own party can't get rid of her under their rules until December. Parliament can't get rid of her because there isn't a majority to do so. And she can't deliver on the most important piece of legislation in modern British history. So assuming that she does win her confidence vote, what happens next? The Prime Minister will almost certainly start talking again to European leaders to see if she can wring out a few more concessions over the Irish backstop, the issue which has turned so many against her deal. She's promised to start consultations with senior parliamentarians, though interestingly not leaders of the main parties, to see if she can forge a new consensus, the kind of people who she thinks might support her deal with just a few tweaks. On the other hand, she's also said that she's not prepared to cross many of the red lines that she set up in the first place. So she doesn't look like a Prime Minister who actually really wants to compromise on her own deal. She looks more like a Prime Minister who's trying to keep control of this process and set all of the terms of debate. Her hope, it would seem, as it would have been if she'd only lost by a small margin, is to run down the clock and see if she can terrify Remain-minded MPs into voting for her deal in the end. But you may say, she specifically said she wouldn't try to do that. Well, the Prime Minister specifically said quite a lot of things over the years, which turned out to be not exactly what she had in mind. The group who are probably feeling the most bullish immediately after the Prime Minister's defeat are her own Tory Brexit hardliners. Nearly 120 of them voted against her, and many of them are very happy to see a no-deal Brexit. They'd like to run down the clock on negotiations and exit without a deal on March 29th. Others think that if they take a tough line, that the EU will eventually blink. But they should probably keep the champagne on ice, because this could be the high watermark of what they are going to achieve. There is a majority in Parliament for a softer Brexit. The problem is that majority has been unable to coalesce around any one measure, but parliamentarians are taking steps to see if they can force the issue. And there's always in the background the possibility of a second referendum if that majority against no deal finds no other way to express itself. Of course, part of Mrs May's problem is that the more she deviates in one way or another, the more enemies she'll make on one side or another. Labour has the right to keep calling confidence votes if it senses that it can bring the government down and force a general election, and of course doing so allows Jeremy Corbyn not to set a particular Brexit policy and own whatever happens in the future. So what has actually changed as a result of this vote? Well, everything and nothing in a way. All the sides are still going to pursue the strategies they were pursuing before. The Prime Minister is still going to push to get a version of her deal through. The hard Brexiters are still going to fight for a no deal and try to run down the clock. And the Prime Minister is certainly wary of splitting her own party by defying them too much. The soft Brexiters and Remainers are still trying to find a way to coalesce around a different position. The only thing that I think may fundamentally have changed is that Parliament has taken a decisive step towards trying to take back control of this process. The question is whether, having taken back control, they can do anything useful with it.